guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, it's your girl Fayy Lenee back with another video. And if you are not new, then you already know what it is. So thank you so much for coming back. For today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys my everyday makeup stash for the month of January. I started this series back in November and then things kind of got a little bit hectic in December, so I did not post a video then. I did still do an everyday makeup stash, I just didn't post a video. But I'm getting back on the bandwagon for January and filming a video for this month so that you guys can see the products that I will be using for the month of January. The purpose of this series, for me at least, is really just to help me to go through my makeup collection, which is honestly more makeup than any one person could ever use in a lifetime, which is why I feel like this is good for me. This series is good for me. It forces me to go through my makeup collection, to pull out products that I haven't used in forever, or even products that may almost be empty, and use them for that month to either empty them out or just try them out again, see if I like them, and ultimately just help me to use up the products in my collection as opposed to going out and continuously buying more and more products and not using up the things that I have. Doing this series, even for just the last 3 months that I've been doing it, has honestly helped me use up so many products because I've really been forcing myself to use the products that I pull out and put to the side for my everyday makeup stash. I of course still kind of use other products because I do receive PR, I do film videos and reviews and stuff like that for you guys, so I am going to be trying out other products throughout the month, but for the most part on an everyday basis, these are the products that I'm going to be using. And this series, like I said, has really helped me to really dig into the products that I already have and try my best to use them up. So if you are new to my channel or to this series, definitely be sure to subscribe down below so that you can join my fam. Also turn on your notifications so that you don't miss out on future videos, and give this one a thumbs up if you enjoy it. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the products. Alright, so I'm going to start out first with face products, primers, foundations, all of that kind of stuff. I have found that it helps, or is most helpful for me at least, if I don't give myself too many options, because the more options that I have, the less likely it is that I'm going to use a significant amount of any one particular product. So I give myself a couple of options, but I try not to give myself too many, because I did that the first month and I found that I didn't really get through as much product as I wish I would have. So for primers, the very first one that I have is the Fenty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Primer. You guys already know that this is a favorite of mine, but the reason that I have it in my stash for the month of January is because, as you can see, it is almost empty. I have pretty much started scraping the bottle of this and I want to use it up in the month of January. I do already have a backup, but I want to go ahead and get this one pretty much used up so that I can get it in my empties bag and start using something else. So this is the very first product that I have, already a favorite like I said, but just want to use it up. And then the next product that I have is actually a product that I was using in the month of December and fell back in love with. This is the Benefit the Professional Matte Rescue. It works similar to the Fenty Pro Filter as far as it's kind of like a mattifying moisturizer or like a mattifying base. So I use it as the first product that I put on my skin before I go in with smoothing primers or oil controlling primers. This one kind of acts as a base. I've had this primer in my collection forever, so this is one that I'm actually trying to use up. So this one and the Fenty will be the two that I will be trying to get to the end of for the month of January. Next up, I have two smoothing primers that I'll be using. The first is the Tarte Poreless Mattifying Primer. This one I've had in my collection for quite a long time. I purchased it, I used it once or twice, and then I just completely forgot about it. So I saw it in my collection and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pull this out. I'm gonna try to get some use out of it for the month of January. And I like that this is both a smoothless, like a pore smoothing and mattifying primer in one. So I feel like this is one that I can definitely try to get a good bit of use out of in January. And then the next one that I have is the Farsali Skin Tone Blur Perfecting Primer Serum. This is a new product to my collection that I've really been enjoying, but I don't use it as much. I use it a little bit more sparingly just because it is a very, very expensive product. but I'm definitely going to be using it. You guys will probably see it in videos and makeup tutorials and stuff like that. It's a bomb primer. It's just super expensive, so I have the Tarte one to kind of go back and forth between the two. And then last but not least, for oil control, I'm going to be using the NYX Angel Veil Skin Perfecting Primer. This is another one that I've had in my collection for a little while. I was using my Hourglass Mineral Veil, which is a pretty expensive primer. I'm about halfway done with that one, so I'm going to give it a break and use this one as my oil controlling primer for the month of January. So moving on to complexion products, I have a couple of foundations and 2 concealers that I'm going to be using. The first one is the Estee Lauder Double Wear Stay in Place Makeup, and you guys can see this is how much I have left in this bottle. Just that little bit. So I have mine in the shade 5W1 Bronze. And the pump that I have on top is a MAC Studio Fix pump. But I went ahead and pulled this out because I want to use this up. I feel like honestly, if I use this consistently for like a week, I could probably completely use this up and be able to toss it in my empties bag and have it out of my collection. I do have a backup of this as well, but I just really want to go ahead and get rid of this one. So I went ahead and pulled it out to use it up. The next product that I have is the Revlon Color Stay Makeup for combination to oily skin. I have mine in the shade 375 Toffee Caramel, and this used to be my jam back in the day. I used to have it in the shade, I think 400 or whatever the shade just caramel is, and that shade was too dark for me. And then like several months ago, I went to Walmart and I saw they had this shade, and I was like, how did I not know that they had a shade that was closer to my complexion? I've been wearing this dark shade all this time. So I picked up this one. I used a good bit of it, as you can see, but then I just kind of got caught up with other foundations, other complexion products, and I haven't been using it as much. So I want to put this one back in the rotation and try to get a little bit more use out of it for January. This is a really good foundation if you have oily skin. This right here is so good. It lasts so long. It wears really nicely on the skin. It's just a bomb foundation for an affordable drugstore product. So I would definitely recommend it and plan on using it a lot more in the month of January. And then last but not least, I have a high-end product. These are both from Urban Decay. I have the Urban Decay All Nighter Waterproof Long Wear Liquid Foundation and the Urban Decay Naked Skin Weightless Ultra Definition Liquid Makeup. This one is new to my collection. This one I've had for forever. When I tried this one out at first, it was way too, it was just like super matte and super cakey, if that's even possible. Like, you guys know I'm all about the full coverage, all about the oil control, all about the matte complexion products. But when I tried this one out, I remember not really loving it that much. So I recently received this one in PR, and I have the waterproof one in shade 8.75 and the Naked Skin one in shade 7.75. And I actually put these, I wore these on my skin on one of my recent videos in my Best of Beauty. Like, I think one of the first 2 videos, I actually mixed the 2 of these together. I did 1 pump of this one, 1 pump of this one, and it looks so good on my skin, and the color looked bomb. It was like a perfect match for my complexion. So I'm going to continue using these for the month of January. If I want something a little more full coverage, a little more long wearing, I'm going to be using the 2 of these. And I may even mix these in with this one a little bit and just kind of create some little concoctions, see how they work together. But definitely going to be putting these to a lot more use for the month of January. And then last but not least, for concealers, I have 1 drugstore and 1 high-end. The first one that I have is the ColourPop No Filter Concealer. This one is in the shade Medium Dark 32. And I actually picked this up a while back when ColourPop launched their new concealer shades, and I just used it a couple of times. I have 3 shades. I used them a couple of times and then I just didn't really go back to them. Like, that's kind of like my pattern. I purchase new things. I do reviews on my YouTube channel. I'll use them a little bit while they're new, and then new products come out. It's like crazy. I'm just trying to keep up with everything, and stuff tends to get lost in the shuffle, and this was one of those products. So I decided to pull it out and give it another go. It was it's a good concealer. I know it's a good concealer. I just want to try to put a little bit more of a dent in it and use it a little bit more. So I have this one, and then I also have the MAC Pro Longwear Concealer in the shade NC42. This used to be my go-to concealer. and I have not used this in forever. So I'm gonna put this one to some good use as well. Try to use it up or put a pretty decent dent in it so that I can add it to my Back to MAC stash. So I have 3 foundations, one that is pretty much almost gone. I should be able to use it up in like a week or so, and then 2 concealers. So I'm keeping it simple, not a whole lot of products to go back and forth between, and hopefully I'll be able to get a pretty decent dent in these products by the end of the month. So next up, I have 2 face powders that I'm going to be reaching for January. The very first one is the Black Radiance True Complexion Loose Setting Powder, which looks like this. And this one is in the shade, I think it's Banana. Yeah, this one's in the shade Banana. I actually pulled this out and was using it in the month of December, and I've been pleasantly surprised by how good this setting powder is. It is so finely milled, and it just sets the face so nicely. I actually used it to set my concealer today, so on my forehead, under my eyes, down the center of my face, and on my chin. And as you can see, it just blends into the skin beautifully, and it sets my concealer beautifully, and it keeps it from creasing underneath my eyes. So I'm going to continue using this for the month of January. You get so much product. So I'm going to continue using this one and give some of my more high-end powders a little bit of a break. And then for the rest of my face, I'm going to use the Maybelline Fit Me Matte and Poreless. I have mine in the shade 330. And I actually purchased this a while back because I think I wanted to have something to use in drugstore makeup tutorials. And I used it like once or twice, and then I just never touched it anymore. So we're going to get some use out of this for the month of January. This is the only face powder that I'm going to be reaching for on an everyday basis. Now, of course, in tutorials and stuff like that, I may try out or feature other things. But as far as on an everyday basis, this will be the one that I'll be reaching for. Oh, okay. So I also forgot one more concealer. I have the Bare Minerals Stroke of Light Eye Brightener. If you are an OG subscriber of mine, you will remember that I used to use this concealer like crazy. I don't remember which other concealer. I think it might have been the Urban Decay Naked Skin that I used to mix with this. This is basically an eye brightener. You can use it as a concealer by itself, but I prefer to actually mix it in with other concealers. So this one I have in the shade Luminous 3, and I would just be mixing this in with the other 2 concealers that I'll be using throughout the month to give my under eyes that radiant glow. So forgot to mention this one. Again, it's by Bare Minerals, and I'll be mixing it in with my other 2 concealers. So next up, I have a brow product. As far as the products that I actually use to apply my brows, I won't really be changing that up because I don't have a ton of brow products that I need to work through. I pretty much use the same stuff over and over and over again, and I work through those products pretty regularly. But I do have several brow gels that I don't use on a regular basis and need to work through. So the first one that I have is this one by L'Oreal, and you can see this one is so old. The writing on the packaging is non-existent, but the product on the inside still looks really good, and there seems to be a decent amount of product in here. So I'm going to try to use this up. This is the L'Oreal Brow Stylist Plumper, and I have mine in the shade Medium to Dark. So this is just a brow gel, like I said. I'm going to be using this to set my brows in the month of January. And then I have a couple of different mascaras that I'm going to be using. So this one I actually used the entire month of December. I'm bringing it into January because it's almost gone. This is the Maybelline no, that's not what it's called, sorry. This is the Maybelline The Colossal Big Shot Mascara, done in collaboration with Shayla. This is the Blackest Black shade, and like I said, this is pretty much almost used up. So I'm going to try to finish this off in the month of January. And then once that's done, I'm going to also be using these. So I have all drugstore mascaras, which I think the drugstore makes such good mascaras. You really don't have to spend a ton of money on high-end mascaras. There are some really good high-end ones, but the drugstore has some bomb ones too. So first off, this little set I actually received a couple of months back in PR from CoverGirl. And it is the CoverGirl Lash Blast Amplify Primer and the CoverGirl Flourish by Lash Blast Mascara. So I'm actually going to be using these as my lower lash mascara. The primer I actually used on my lower lashes today, and then I used this mascara on top of it. And it made my lower lashes just so full and voluminous and just like probably the best I've ever seen my lower lashes. So I decided to pull this out and use them for the month of January and see if I continue to still like the product. And then this is a product that I have been using off and on throughout the month of December. It's another product that I also received in PR. I actually got a couple of these. They sent me like 3 or 4 of these. So I decided to open up one and try it out, and oh my gosh, so good. So this is by Revlon. This is the Volumizing Mascara. So this is what the brush looks like. It's a pretty kind of large, voluminous brush, and it just makes your lashes look so full and so just, if you are someone that has like not really great lashes like me, you will really like this because it helps to pull and just lengthen and separate your lashes, but it's also really black and it makes your lashes look really full and volumized. So I will definitely be using this. I want to try to use this one up first, and then I'll start reaching for this one. And then last but not least, I have 4 lip colors that I'm going to be reaching for the month of January. I have 2 lipsticks and 2 liquid lipsticks. So the first one I have is from Gerard Cosmetics. This is this is like OG right here, like OG status. I have so many Gerard Cosmetics products. I purchased them because they used to have so many sales, like 2 for this, 3 for this, 4 for this, 5 for this, and I used to buy them in bulk, and now I just have them on my vanity looking pretty because the packaging is pretty, but I don't really use them as much. So I decided to pull out one. This one is in the shade 1995, and this was actually done in collaboration with Jaclyn Hill. That just goes to show you how long I've had this in my collection. Like, girl, I should probably honestly throw this out, but it's still, like, I mean, the formula is still good. The product is still good, so I'm gonna keep on using it. So this is what it looks like. Such a beautiful mauve-y, pinky toned shade. And it is a liquid lipstick, so it does dry down matte. And yeah, just a great everyday lip shade, so I'll be using that. And then the second one that I have is the IGXO liquid lipstick in Mauve Sugar. This was done in collaboration with Nature B, and I actually purchased this towards the end of like the second half of December, and I purchased it because Nature B is my girl. I watch her all the time. I love her channel, so I wanted to support her. And this is what it looks like. I have worn this already a couple of times and I absolutely love it. This is literally my kind of shade. Like, when you think of the mauve nude, which you guys know that is right up my alley, that I would wear every single day, this is it. And you can pair this with like a brown lip liner, like Cork, which is one of my favorites. I line my entire lips with that and then put this on top, and it gives you more of a brown tone nude. Or you could just wear it just by itself and it's a true mauve toned nude. So this right here, I already know I'll get a ton of use out of. Such a good lip color. And then lastly, I have 2 lipsticks. Both of them are drugstore products. The first one I have is from Maybelline. This is the shade Nude Nuance, and it's a matte lipstick. This is what it looks like. And this is another one that I've had in my collection for forever. I tend to reach for the same lipsticks over and over again, my MAC shades and my Milani shades, so I want to kind of switch it up. So this is what that looks like. Again, another beautiful mauve toned lip color, and this one, although it's matte, it's a comfortable matte. It doesn't like dry down. It's a matte lipstick, so it's a comfortable matte on the lips. Definitely a shade that I can wear on a regular basis every day, you know, throw in my purse for touch-ups and all of that good stuff. And then last but not least, I have the ColourPop lipstick in the shade Pinkies Up. This is another one that I purchased and used a couple of times and then just kind of had in my drawer and forgot about. But this is what it looks like. Do you guys see these swatches? Okay, these are my tones. These are my tones. So that one right there, it's more of a deeper, it looks lighter on camera, but in person, it's definitely more of like it's definitely a mauve nude, but it's more of a brown, kind of a brown undertoned. But beautiful color. All of these are beautiful. So I'll have 2 matte shade options, 2 liquid lipstick matte options, and then 2 lipstick options to choose from depending on my mood, depending on what kind of lip I'm going for. And I'm not a huge gloss girl, so I didn't pull out any glosses. I'll just kind of pull those out as I as I want to use them. And yeah, that's all the lippies. And now that I'm actually looking at my desk, I just realized I almost forgot a whole stack. Well, not a whole stack. I have 3 more things that I'm going to be reaching for that I almost forgot about. So let me tell you about these real quick and then we'll be done. So first up, I have the BH Cosmetics times It's My Ray Ray palette. This is a full face palette, so it has eyeshadows and it also has face products in it. This is what it looks like. And I actually forgot about this, but I pulled it out when I did my top 10 eyeshadow palettes for 2018. And I decided to pull this out and just throw it in my everyday makeup stash because you pretty much have everything that you need in this palette to do a whole eyeshadow look, and you have your face products. So I have my highlighters. I'll be using this contour shade. I use this highlighter on my face today, and I use the contour shade to contour today also. And then I also use the eyeshadows for my eyeshadow look today. So I'm going to be using these throughout the month of January. And then for blush, I pulled out my Tarte palette. This is actually a limited edition palette, so I'm sorry if this is something that you might have wanted to try to get your hands on. I don't think it's available anymore, but it is still in my collection. It is still something that I want to get more use out of because I hardly ever reach for this. But this is the Tarte Blush Bazaar Amazonian Clay Blush Palette, and this is what it looks like. So tons of beautiful blush shades in here. I did use this palette today for the blush that I'm wearing. Nice neutral blush shade. And yeah, you have 2 highlighters. You have a pinky toned highlighter, you have a golden champagne highlighter, and then you have a bunch of different blushes that you can use individually or you can mix together to create custom shades. And I know that Tarte comes out with a blush book pretty much every holiday season, so if you're interested in getting one, I know they did launch one for the holidays last year, and I'm pretty sure it's probably still available, but this is the only one that I've ever purchased, and I don't really use it very often, so I'm going to put it to use for the month of January. You may not see this very much in tutorials unless the blush is available as a single. Because again, this palette is not available, so I don't want to be using something that you guys can't purchase. But if there is a blush in here that I can use as a single, that's available as a single, then I will feature this in tutorials this month as well. And then last but not least, for real this time, I have the Pixie times Dulce Candy Sweet Glow palette. So this palette actually comes with highlighters, blushes. This could be a bronzer if you are of a lighter complexion. It probably would not work. I mean, it might work as a bronzer for me, but I probably wouldn't use it that way just because I'm not a fan of shimmery bronzers. But the highlights in here, the blushes, all of these shadows or all of these shades in here really are beautiful and super pigmented. So I went ahead and pulled this out of my collection. I did mention this in my top 10 palettes video. So if you want to see swatches of this, if you want to see a little bit more about the shades, you can check out that video. Alright guys, so that is going to bring us to the end of this video. These are all of the products that I'm going to be using for the month of January. I'm very excited. I feel like I picked out some really good stuff. So I'm super excited to start using it, featuring it in videos, and just starting to get through all of it. So as usual, you guys already know I will have all of the products that I mentioned in this video listed for you guys down below in the description with links so that you can shop there if you would like to. I also wanted to mention that I am going to be doing an upload schedule for this year. I'm gonna try. So that's one of my goals, one of my, one of the things that I have set out for myself for 2018. So my upload schedule is going to be Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. And I'll probably upload anywhere between around like 5 or 6, like between 5 and 7, I'll say, p.m. on those days. So be sure, except for Sunday, it'll probably be in the morning. So just so you know. So definitely be sure to expect 3 videos a week from me on those days. And now you guys will kind of know when I'm going to be uploading so that you can come back to my channel on those days to check out what I have posted for that particular day. So Tuesday, Thursday, Sunday, I'll have it listed down below in the description as well. Set your alarms, set your reminders. Those will be the days that I will be posting videos moving forward. So yeah, this has been a long video. If you made it to the end, you already know you are the real MVP. So thank you so much for sticking it out all the way to the end. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a big thumbs up. And that is all that I have for you. So thank you so much again for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you very soon in my next one.